My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, Pope Francis took the name of St. Francis of Assisi because he wanted to have the same spirit or attitude in his rule as Pope, something of kindness and the spirit of Pope Francis. And if you remember, Pope Francis once, the way he acted attracted everybody. Vinicio Rivia was rejected by everybody because he had a large tumor on his face and it was dreadful to look at, and the whole body. And people said, "Do not come to me," in the bus station and also in the bus when he traveled. People did not dare to come close to him, and including his father would not touch him. But when Pope Francis had this public audience, he comes and without hesitation he embraces him. This is the photograph. We have printed this booklet on from Amrutavani Communication Center, and here you see how Pope is about to kiss him, and this looks like leprosy. And it was terrible that he had to do this. In the sense, Pope Francis did not know actually the disease was, what is it called, neurofibromatosis. It is not contagious, but he did not know it was not contagious. But he risked in kindness and mercy. He said, "I accept you as you are and I love you." And that's how he kissed him on his head, and that changed this man. Not only him, a mother who saw this said this. He not only embraced Vinicio Rivia, but also all those mothers and all the families who have children with this disease. So my dear friends, today we have something similar in the gospel. This man with leprosy, it says full of leprosy. A man full of leprosy came to Jesus, and he fell on his face and besought him, because usually people are not allowed to come close. And here he comes, he dares. And imagine they would get that disease themselves. And he stretched out his hand and touched him. So he would become contagious. But Jesus, out of love and kindness, reaches out to this man, because this man prays to Jesus. "Jesus, please make me clean." My dear friends, leprosy those days was something that used to kill the man daily, but progressively. You know, the skin or all the organs get numb, so there is no life. So even if a cut happens, a knife cuts your body, you don't feel the pain. So it falls off. So eventually you get disfigured. So they cannot go and meet their family. The family has to come, and they would have to drop the food, and they would not want to meet them, and they want to die. Why? Because they do not want the family to see the way they are disfigured and dying, rot and dying. And here is Jesus able to embrace them. So my dear friends, we can say that in the spiritual life, sin is also like leprosy. Jesus wants to tell us that sin defiles a man, incapacitates the sinner. So the sinner becomes numb. He gets used to sin. He becomes insensitive to God and to people around him and to truth. He becomes numb. So sin also causes distances between first God and you, and then breakdowns the relationships. So every sin has an effect not only on God, it distances God, also it breaks the relationship. Cain, for example, killed Abel. So it distanced him from his brother so badly, and it distanced him from God who loved his brother and who loved him. Sin also results in loneliness, because you are called to be united with God. You're called to be in unity with God. And sin alienates you. Alienates because it is utter selfishness that makes you live your life of sinfulness and selfishness. So it brings about loneliness in your life. And sin grows progressively like the leprosy, and worse, ending in spiritual death. You die. So you no more have that sensitivity. And sin ultimately has no human care. It's only God, because in sin you cannot reach God. Only God has in mercy to come. So today, we may not have leprosy, but we have the sin, which is leprous. So God is asking us, only He can heal us. And Jesus has come and is born for this. So my dear friends, whatever forms of sin we have, if we have loneliness, if we have broken relationships, it is nothing but different forms of sin. So let us become aware and do what God wants us. Come to Him. Only He can cure. Only He can get us out of this sinfulness. And the second reflection I want to share with you is, where did this man or Jesus Himself get the strength to be able to do this? To be kind to people who are sinful, to help people who are sinful. Where did Jesus get His strength to be able to touch this leprous man? George Washington Carver has discovered 300 ways of using the peanuts. So he had developed 300 products out of peanuts. Can you imagine? And two important ones that he developed were shampoo from the peanuts and also printer's ink. What we use ink for printing, printer's ink. And the writer James Childers asked him, how are you able to discover or come up with so many creativities? And he said, early morning, 4 o'clock, I go into the woods and I listen to God's voice, and He gives me His plans. So in other words, my dear brothers and sisters, if we want to live fully, you have to be tuned to God. And that's what Jesus did. What did Jesus say? At the end of He withdrew to the wilderness and prayed. So it is in prayer that Jesus is equipped. It is in prayer that Jesus has His direction. It is in prayer that Jesus is strengthened to do things that are beyond man. So my dear friends, we should remember It is nothing but a way of connecting to God. Unless we are connected to God, we cannot do things. We cannot live our life, spiritual life. That's why Jesus says, without me you can do nothing. So let us also cultivate the habit of prayer that will bring us the attitude of mercy, like Jesus.